In IPFW history, women's basketball history?
I can't think of a better place, and I don't mean that in any disrespect whatsoever, because it's no secret we have struggled against this basketball team. I mean, we lost every time we played them, and sometimes what happens is, even though you're getting better as a program, until you really beat somebody, you don't know whether you can beat them. And you saw it early. We came out tight. We turned the ball over 4 or 5 times. We get one shot in 4.5 minutes. And it was the same old thing that happens to us a lot of times when we come up here. But this is a different IPFW team. And I think what you saw tonight is, excuse me, they just don't ever quit. They play really, really hard. They play as a team. They don't care who scores. All they're trying to do is play as a unit and win basketball games. And I honestly couldn't be any prouder than I am right now.
Coach, you mentioned the rough start. I imagine you're kind of, even when you're down 6, 7, 8 in the first half, late, where you're kind of going, actually, we'll take this. I mean, it could be worse. You know what I'm saying?
There's no doubt in my mind I was saying, we'll take this, because it could have been a lot worse. We were fortunate enough that South was a little rough early and turned the ball over. Otherwise, it could have been 14-15, and then I'm not sure you have a chance to get back in it. So we were very fortunate to still be single digits. And then, obviously, to hit that 3 late in the first half and go in tied is mentally just a huge piece. There's just something about being tied as opposed to being down even 1 mentally. Because we talked at halftime about, okay, we didn't play real well. Because this basketball team has done a good job of taking care of the basketball this year. I think we're only averaging about 15 a game. We had 23 tonight. So obviously, we didn't do a good job there. But I give most of the credit there to South because I thought their defensive pressure was unbelievable. And I knew they were going to come after us because, South sat at 1-3, and everybody was talking about, oh, that's not the South of old, and blah, blah, blah. Well, I knew better. I've been around the block here, and I knew better. Next thing you know, here they sit at 4-3, 1 game behind us, and they knew they had us and Oakland this weekend. And if they sweep this weekend, here they are right where they need to be, at 6-3, getting ready to make that late push. So I knew we were going to get their best effort, and I just, I was proud of the way we responded to at least get it back to tied going into the second half.
Talk about the way you came out in the second half, scoring 9 of the first 11 points in the second half. It's certainly the surge you needed.
It is, and it's a trademark of South, and fortunately we turned the tables on them a little bit, because if you remember the last couple years, South has always started games on runs and started second half on runs. And I think the ultimate credit to a basketball program is when you try to copy what they do. And it's no secret that we've done a lot of research on this basketball program, because the last couple of years they've been where we want to get. They've won conference championships, they've been to the NCAA tournament, so we've watched a lot of film, we've studied the way they play, how they do things, and I think that's just a compliment to Coach Johnson and what he's done here. And now all of a sudden our basketball team is very confident in what they're doing, and they truly believed that we were going to come out, score right away, take the lead, and go on a little run. And I can promise you a couple years ago, I know you've been covering us for a long time, it wouldn't have happened. We would have come out, South would have made the run, and it could have gotten ugly. And this is just a different team. So that start in the second half was very, very important.
Did you feel like after SDSU came back and tied it up to send it into overtime, did you feel like it was going to be a letdown for your girls coming out?
No, and here's the reason why. We had a really, really tough loss at Hampton a while ago, where we led by 12 in the second half and had a shot in a regulation to win it, and it goes to overtime. And then in overtime, we're up 2. We found somebody shooting 3 with like 2 seconds on the clock. They make 2 free throws. We go to double overtime. Double overtime, we have a 1-point lead. They miss a shot. They tip one in the buzzer. We lose by 1 in double overtime. So what we talked about in the huddle was, we've been here. We understand what we can do here. We've already been in overtime situations. At Hampton, we did everything we needed to do to win. We just ran out of time there at the end. So I think what I told the kids there in the locker room is sometimes things happen for a reason. I didn't really understand at the time why we lost that Hampton game because I felt like we outplayed them. But maybe the reason was because it was preparing us for down the line, because there was no panic in our basketball team. They'd been there, we came out, we took the lead, and they just played with a lot of poise and confidence. So, I really didn't feel that way.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
I will tell you, I appreciate